do, because really one of the only great counters to Broodlords that the Terran has is Vikings and a buttload of Marines, and that armor will take away from the Marines' usage a lot. And another supply depot here that Lalush was able to find, able to pick it off. BratOK's going to be slightly supply blocked. No, one supply depot did just finish, and he is building a few more now, so he will be okay. And continually putting up turrets in his mineral lines just to make sure that the Mutalisks don't harass as much as they want to. And now Lalush is actually putting up some defense. Lots of Zerglings, quite a few Roaches, and some Banelings, so he's expecting a lot of Marines because of the Mutalisk play. You need a lot of mutas, or a lot of Marines to deal with the mutas, so that'll be a good counter to those. And the Zerg player seems to be trying to force BratOK to really want to have to counter him. And wow, yeah, Lalush tried to take out this refinery, but BratOK's great game sense and reaction was able to pull all his SCVs off and repair it and keep that alive. One lost refinery can be very, very problematic for a Terran player because it does stop their air and mech production, of course not Marines, because they're only minerals. A couple of Hellions out on the field now as well. We are researching the Infernal Pre-Igniter, so that will be very helpful against the Zerglings. No Hydralisks on the field for Lalush though, so that's the only unit that it's going to get a bonus damage against. Of course, for some reason, Banelings aren't light. That baffles me, because they look pretty small. But anyways, Lalush here is trying to get some map control. Wow, he's taking a 4th base now, trying to take the high yield. Still fooling around with these Mutalisks, trying to cause some harassment and keep BratOK on his toes, but BratOK is about to push out these Banelings. If they're able to engage the Marines, that'll be a lot of dead bodies. We'll need a cemetery somewhere over in the corner of this base if those Banelings can reach those Marines. But with the Marines with Stimpack and a couple tanks or a Thor out in front, they should be able to absorb a lot of the damage. And of course, if, BratOK's a pro player, so his micro is very good. And it looks like we're setting up for a big battle here in the middle, down by the Watchtower. And it is the battle for the Watchtower. It looks like BratOK's got control now. No more Mutalisks actually in production right now. But we do have a Hive coming down, so that is going to mean we are going to see Ultras or Broodlords. And like I was saying, I bet you we're going to see Broodlords just because of that flyer upgrade and the way the Terran army is composed. Broodlords would be very, very effective against these Marines, especially if Banelings are there to protect underneath the Broodlords. And a couple Zerglings just didn't want to live anymore, committed suicide straight off the side of that Watchtower. They just went right to it, and then I guess they decided that the Marine had the Watchtower, so they didn't want to live anymore. But yeah, BratOK here's got quite a few medevacs out in the field. If he gets a few more, that will reduce the amount of AoE damage that the Broodlords can do. Well, I guess it's not really AoE, but the Broodlings kind of act like an AoE damager, as they can hit multiple units, and as more and more Broodlings are created, it starts hitting more and more units. But the more medevacs you have, the better that is. Or, sorry, the better you are off against that. And there are Corruptors coming out, so that is likely to become Broodlords, because BratOK's got virtually no air besides these medevacs. And if we look back at his base, we do see no, just more medevacs coming out. No Vikings. Vikings is going to be what he's going to need to battle these Broodlords. And oh, now he's just getting his Greater Spire now. So Broodlords are quite a ways away, but you can definitely tell the way he's thinking and what he's planning on doing. Looking at the army tab, Lalush is a little bit better off right now. He's got about 25 supply extra, but looking at the income tab, 13 of that actually belongs to workers. Because he's got 4 bases to BratOK's 3, he will be sacrificing a lot of his supply to the workers. And it looks like BratOK put up a planetary fortress here to protect. That is probably the most popular thing to do for Terran on this map. Once they take that 3rd base, is put up that planetary fortress, and it prevents a Zerg from pushing in unless they've got the heavy assault units. And it looks like BratOK tried to take this base a few times, but his attacks were thwarted off by, well, he just tried to take a few Marines at one time, and that was easily thwarted off. But anyways, he does succeed in killing off that base now. And it looks like BratOK's just looking to fortify this position a little bit more. I don't want to leave this area because all the battle is going to happen. If I do happen to look away for a second and miss it, I will rewind it. I have no problem doing that. But it looks like Lush here is just trying to push the creep out a little bit more. This creep tumor is in sight of this, yeah, missile turret, so the tank does take it out before sieging up. And we've got Broodlords on the field now. There's 8 of them morphing in and 2 more Corruptors, so those might turn into Broodlords as well. He doesn't have enough gas, so only one of them are turned into a Broodlord, and this is probably going to be his timing push, and it is. The Broodlords are making their slow way over to the Terran area, and if these siege tanks are taken out, that'll be very troublesome for the Terran player. He tried to put up a missile turret here with Xel'Naga, but that's not going to happen. Baneling's rolling in to take care of any Marines that are going to try to scoot and shoot up top, but the Mutas are also here to take care of any Vikings that may come into play. The Broodlords, of course, need escorts like Mutas and the Corruptors, and it looks like BratOK's going to engage here. He moves all his Marines up. They are stim, and the Banelings and the Roaches are coming in, but BratOK doing a nice job backing up, and the Planetary Fortress and the Siege Tanks will take out a bunch of those Banelings. And wow, I would have thought absolutely that Lalush had this battle, but it looks like with all of these Marines still alive, these Broodlords are going to die so quickly. He's got 3 Vikings still in the field, 1 Thor, and a bunch of Marines, and all of those Broodlords are gone. And what looked to be like a Lalush/Zerg favored battle is now heavily weighted in BratOK's favor. We've got just Roaches and Infestors and a few Banelings left in the field. These Marauders and Marines are looking to take out these Spine Crawlers so they can take out this 3rd base. At the same time, over in this bottom corner here, the Lush has taken a 5th base, and he has also taken back the High Yield. I won't scoot over there because the battle is still raging on. But it looks like Banelings are going to try to come in, but there's Marauders in the front, and they don't want to waste themselves on the Marauders, although there's no Marines left in this composition, so they should have just blown up on whatever they could. But it looks like that base did go down. The Infestors are throwing down some infested Terrans. The Roaches look like they are going to clean up the rest of this Terran force. There's a few Zerglings coming in, but the Vikings land and tip the tide of the battle once again. So very nice play by BratOK, utilizing those Vikings to their full extent, keeping that infantry alive. He's got a ton of medevacs out on the field right now. That is imperative to keeping his infantry army alive. And we'll have to see what he does now, if he retreats to rebuild his force or if he continues to push in on these bases. If we look at his viewpoint, he has seen the 4th base here in the corner territorial expansion. He is going to go take that out, and it looks like the Vikings are doing somewhat of a pincer attack. So this area is going to go undefended. That base is going to fall. At the same time, the Vikings are pushing in. Can they take out the Greater Spire? If they do, that will be really problematic for Lalush, as that is his highest tier tech unit right now. Baneling hitting one of the Vikings and taking it out, and the Vikings are forced to lift off, scoot and shoot, kill a Corruptor, and retreat now that there are some infested Terrans out on the field. And without any other anti-air, this could be very problematic for Lalush. He's got no Hydras. Does he even have a Hydra den out? I don't think so. And at the same time, there's a battle here waging down at the bottom. Lalush has got some Spine Crawlers here to help defend, but it's just not going to be enough, as all these Marines and Marauders are upgraded 2-2 right now, and it looks like 3-3 are on the way. So he's Lalush is in big trouble here, as BratOK is just continually reinforcing. He's got a ton of minerals and gas right now, and he is supply capped. Looking at the army tab, oh, that's not even going to be funny anymore. So pretty much whatever Lalush does right now, it's just delaying the inevitable. When you've got double the supply and almost triple the army, there's really not much you can do at this point. I don't even know if Lalush has seen... Yes, he has seen the Planetary Fortress, so he knows he's not going to break that without any big siege like Ultralisk or lots of Roaches. I guess he could do it if there's no SCVs repairing, but you'd also need those Broodlords. But I believe, no, the Greater Spire was saved in that battle. Vikings overhead, just taking a look around, seeing what's what, and although that's a redundant statement, who cares? Wow, the Vikings are landing, getting a little ballsy here with all of these Banelings morphing in, and the Terran army is pushing in once again, and I think this is going to be lights out for Lalush here in Game 1. The hatchery does fall down, and there is almost no income left for that player. Fungal Growth, very nice job on the infantry, allowing the Roaches to come in and clean up, but it just wasn't enough. Too many medevacs in the air. Lalush was forced to GG. So great game by BratOK, great fight by Lalush. He was, in my eyes, he was clearly in favor with 5 bases to 3, but the Terran army did come out on top. So game 2 coming up for you guys, and stay tuned.